My name is Margaret. I'm 77 years old. And I remember the last time we didn't speak. It was a Tuesday afternoon in October. The light was coming through the kitchen window at that angle it does in the fall. Lower, softer. We were standing on opposite sides of the table, and neither of us said a word. My sister's name was Jean. She was 3 years younger than me. Growing up, that felt like a lot. I was the responsible one, the one who set the example, the one who was supposed to know better. Jean was the wild one, the one who laughed too loud, who stayed out too late, who didn't care what people thought. Our mother used to say we were like oil and water. I think she meant it as an observation, but it felt like a warning. We grew up in upstate New York, small town, the kind where everyone went to the same church and shopped at the same grocery store and knew your business before you did. Our father owned a hardware store. Our mother taught piano lessons in the front room of our house. It was a quiet life, orderly. Jean hated it. She left for college when I was 21, went to a school in California, as far from home as she could get. I stayed, got married to a man from town, Donald. He worked at the bank. We bought a house 2 streets over from where we grew up. It made sense. It was safe. Jean came home for Christmas that first year. She looked different, dressed different, talked about things I didn't understand. Protests, politics, ideas that made our parents uncomfortable. I remember our mother pulling me aside in the kitchen. "Talk to her," she said. "She listens to you." But Jean didn't listen to me. She never had. After that, she came home less and less. She'd call sometimes, late at night, her voice bright and distant. She'd tell me about her life, her friends, the causes she cared about. I'd listen, make the right sounds, but I didn't understand her world, and I don't think she understood mine. When our father got sick, Jean came home. It was 1981. He'd been diagnosed with lung cancer, stage 4. The doctors said there wasn't much they could do. Jean stayed for 2 weeks, slept in her old room, sat with him in the afternoons while our mother rested. I'd come by after work, bring groceries, help with the cooking. Jean and I didn't talk much during those 2 weeks. We were polite, careful, but there was something between us, something that had been building for years. Distance, maybe, or resentment. I'm still not sure which. Our father died on a Saturday morning. The funeral was the following Thursday. Jean stayed through the weekend, helped our mother sort through his things, made phone calls, did all the things you have to do when someone dies. And then she left. She hugged our mother, told her she'd call. She looked at me. "Take care of her," she said. "I will." That was it. Our mother lived for another 18 years. I saw her almost every day, brought her groceries, took her to doctor's appointments, sat with her in the evenings while Donald watched Wheel of Fortune. Donald was patient about it, but I could tell it was wearing on him. "Your sister could help," he said once. "She has her own life. So do you." I didn't know what to say to that. Our mother passed away in 2003, quietly, in her sleep. I was the one who found her. I called Jean from the hospital. It was early morning in California. She answered on the 4th ring. "Mom's gone," I said. Silence. "I'll get a flight," she said finally. "I'll be there tomorrow." She arrived the next evening. I picked her up from the airport. We didn't say much on the drive. When we got to the house, she stood in the driveway for a long moment, just looking at it. "It's smaller than I remember," she said. "It's the same size it's always been." We spent the next few days making arrangements, calling relatives, planning the service, going through our mother's things. We were efficient, professional, but we didn't talk. not really. The funeral was on a Saturday. Small, quiet, just family and a few people from church. Afterward, everyone came back to the house. There was food, coffee. People stood around talking in low voices. Jean and I moved through the rooms like strangers. By evening, everyone had gone. It was just the two of us. We stood in the kitchen. The light was coming through the window at that low autumn angle. Jean was on one side of the table, I was on the other. She looked tired, older than I'd remembered. "I should probably start going through her jewelry," she said, "decide what to do with it." I already did that. She looked up. When? Last month, when it was clear she wasn't going to recover. You didn't think to ask me? You weren't here. The air changed. "What's that supposed to mean?" she asked. "Exactly what it sounds like. I couldn't just drop everything and move back here, Margaret. I have a life, a job, responsibilities. So do I. Then why didn't you ask for help? I did. You didn't come." She stared at me. "I came when Dad died. I came now. What more do you want from me? I wanted you here, not once a year, not when it was convenient. Here, helping, being her daughter. I was her daughter, from 3,000 miles away." Her face hardened. "You always did this," she said, "made me feel like I wasn't good enough, like I was doing everything wrong. That's not... You stayed because you wanted to, because this life made sense to you. I left because I couldn't breathe here, and you've punished me for it ever since." I wanted to tell her she was wrong, that I didn't resent her for leaving, that I understood. But the truth was, I did resent her, for having a choice when I felt like I didn't, for building a life I couldn't imagine, for not being there when I needed her. We stood there, neither of us speaking, the silence filling the space between us like something solid. Finally, Jean picked up her purse. "I'm going to the hotel," she said. "You don't have to. I think I do." She walked to the door, stopped, turned back. "I loved her too, you know." "I know." She left, and I stood there in the kitchen, alone. The next morning we met at the lawyer's office to go over the will. It was straightforward, everything split evenly between us, the house, the savings, the few pieces of jewelry our mother had. Jean signed the papers, so did I. Afterward, we stood in the parking lot. "I'm flying out this afternoon," she said. "Okay. If you need help with the house, selling it or whatever, let me know. I will." We looked at each other. I wanted to say something, to tell her I was sorry, that I didn't mean what I'd said, but I didn't, and neither did she. She got in her rental car. I watched her drive away. That was the last time I saw her. We didn't fight after that. We didn't yell. We didn't argue. We just stopped. I sold the house, sent her half the money. She sent a thank you card. That was it. Years went by. I'd think about calling her sometimes, especially around the holidays. I'd pick up the phone, dial the first few numbers, and then I'd stop, because I didn't know what to say, and I was afraid she wouldn't want to hear it anyway. Donald passed away 3 years ago. Heart attack, sudden. One of my daughters asked if I wanted her to contact Jean, let her know. I said no. I told myself it wasn't necessary, that we hadn't spoken in so long it would be strange. But really, I was ashamed. Ashamed that I'd let it go on this long. Ashamed that I didn't know how to fix it. Last month, I bought a phone call.
A woman I didn't know. She said she was Jean's neighbor. Jean had asked her to call me. Jean was sick, in hospice. She wanted to see me. I sat with the phone in my hand for a long time after that call ended, and then I booked a flight. I'm flying out tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to say to her. I don't know if she'll even be able to talk, but I'm going, because I can't let the last time we spoke be that afternoon in the kitchen. I can't let silence be the last thing between us. I'm 77 years old, and I remember the last time we didn't speak. But maybe it doesn't have to stay that way. Maybe there's still time for one more conversation, even if it's just to say I'm sorry, even if it's just to say goodbye. If you've made it this far, thank you. I don't know why I needed to say all this out loud. Maybe to remind myself that silence isn't safety, that the things we don't say can hurt just as much as the things we do. Maybe you have someone you stopped talking to, someone you miss but don't know how to reach. I hope you don't wait as long as I did.